everyone.
Hey guys, what's up?
This is Movie Pillow Fights.
Hey!
I'm Brienne, also known as Miss Movies.
And I'm Stacey Howard.
And each week we take one question from Twitter and we answer and or fight about it and or talk about it. Yeah.
While
it's
in
about
bed
movies.
together. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And one day we'll have a guest in here with us.
Yeah.
They will be here.
We're going to have them snuggled
That's right.
up. Mm-hmm.
We do a podcast called 6 Degrees of Feature Film, which you can find here on YouTube as well as iTunes, SoundCloud, and Stitcher.
Yep.
And so check us out, please.
For sure. Subscribe. Do all that fun stuff. We talk about movies during the entire podcast, as we're going to do right now. And all kinds of fun stuff. So
Exactly.
just a bunch of movie geeks, you know.
What's our question this week?
Our question is from Jake Damon on Twitter. Asked, what do you think is the most influential movie on society has been in the last 10 years?
Okay. Me first, you first?
You first.
Okay. I'm going to go with Blackfish, which came out in 2013, I believe. It's a documentary.
Mm-hmm.
It's about SeaWorld and keeping orcas and larger marine life in captivity and the damaging effects that can have on the animal, as well as the damaging effects that it can have on the person that's in charge of them, because someone does die in that documentary. And basically that's kind of the offshoot of why are we doing this? Why are we keeping these animals where they shouldn't be? They're a danger to themselves, they're a danger to others. There have been effects. The effects of this are still ongoing. There's definitely been a lot lower attendance at SeaWorld and all the other marine sort of theme parks in the United States, for sure. I know that they've, shortly after this documentary came out, the CEO stepped down. So there's been a lot of movement in terms of us as a society saying, you know what, it's not okay. We need, and how are we going? The only way that we can make a difference in this sort of situation is to make that difference with our dollar, and that's what they're seeing. They're definitely seeing a loss of profits, and that is continuing. So, and I know that there have been other lawsuits or laws that have come into effect because of Blackfish, just about how big you can, what's the biggest you can have, and what kind of tank do you need, and things like that.
And also like the whole breeding situation and everything.
Right.
So yeah.
So there you go. That's what I'm going to say is the most influential.
Okay. And you know, I kind of read this question differently. I read it more as like, what film has influenced other films in society? So I actually picked Inception on this one because if you look at the overall tone for the movie, how mind-bending and epic it is, the visual effects, the sound, and everything, that wah horn is in like every trailer ever from like 2011 on.
Thank you, Inception.
Thanks, Inception. And even look at Doctor Strange now. The second that all the buildings move, I'm like, oh, that's Inception. What?
Right.
And so I think it had a big influence on film. And it was one of those movies where the concept of it is very much an indie film, but it was so big. And I mean, none of my friends really like movies the way that I do, but they all saw Inception. It was a huge, huge movie, and, mainstream America saw it versus, like, Paul Blart or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it was this incredible concept for a film, and, of course, it had a big budget, and it looked great, but, like, all of America saw it, even though it was very different from other films. So I think it had a big impact on movies in general, and the movie-going audience, and what has the potential to be a great movie and a big movie. So yeah, I'm going with Inception.
I like it. I like that you have a different take on what was clearly about society.
Thanks.
I'm just kidding.
No, you know what else? Okay, then if we want to go with society, I'm gonna pick also Making a Murderer. That's not really a film. That's a television show, but it's like it's kind of a Netflix more. Yeah. But it's talking about and also in the sense of like Serial and all that, talking about how society kind of influences whether people go to jail or not, or how they're perceived, and how the public persona. You can even look at television shows like they just did, The People versus O.J. Simpson, and this reveal about how there's so much impact from the media on what actually happens in our legal system. It's pretty crazy. So that's kind of what popped into my head too. I know the TV shows, but whatever. I'm going with it. I'm breaking the rules.
It's all entertainment.
Yeah.
In the name of entertainment.
In the name of entertainment.
Thanks, Jake.
Yeah.
So this week on our show, on 6 Degrees of Feature Film, we are doing an episode where we take some questions from the Movie Fights home game and we answer them. So that's a little different from what we normally do, but we still talk about at least 6 films, and that's always our goal. 6, 7 films.
6, 7.
Yeah. There you go.
Totally.
Check that out. Where can we find you, Stacey?
You can find me on Twitter at SOHoward2012 and also on Instagram at Stacey O. Howard.
And I'm at Miss Movies every goddamn day on Twitter, so I'll be there if you want to say hey.
All right, hey.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
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 Bye. Bye.